All right, so today I'm feeling a little bit debatable. This isn't really anything that's going to teach you or learn you anything. I just wanted to throw a question out there just because you guys have been so responsive. Wanted to get your thoughts on it. Some of you that are more experienced in the welding business and you've been in it for 7 to 10 years, versus the ones that are just getting started in it, like myself. We're 2 years or less, or the ones that even started a welding business. I just want to hear all the different sides on what you think. I kind of am led to believe in my own experience with just doing my own welding business here that when you want to start a welding business, I think it's very important that you actually have the trade part down. You know, at least 5 years, 5 to 7 years of trade experience, I would think, at least to where you feel very comfortable with what you're doing, metal fabrication, welding, and the such, before you kind of start a welding business, because I feel welding businesses are so much more than just starting a business. Not just anyone can start a welding business. You actually have to be very proficient in welding and metal fabrication, because when you start a business, you have no one. At least as far as I've experienced, you have no one. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. No one's there to help you. No one's there to lend you a hand. No one is, really wanting to give you all the ins and outs of it, except for the advent of the internet. I actually got a great mentor. I do. And he's in California. And he will tell you straight to your face the only reason he's helping me is because we're about 2,000 miles away from each other. Competition's steep. So he's not going to be helping out anybody that's in his region. So that's the only reason I have a mentor, is just because he's in a whole different state. He will tell you that straight to your face, and he won't be shy about it. So when you have no one to help you out, and that's just for me trying to get on the business side of it. I've never even asked him much for any kind of, what would you do as far as fabrication, and how would you build it, or how would you weld this thing? All that I've got underneath my belt, so I can only begin to imagine the crippling effect that it would have on someone that's wanting to start a business that just came out of a welding school, or doesn't really have very much experience in the field. They just got into it and they love it, and they've only been doing it for like a year, and they want to start a welding business because to me it's a great opportunity. It is a great opportunity, but I feel like the barrier to entry is so much higher for a welding business. But that's just my belief, because I certainly believe that while I've been kind of just barely keeping my head above water with the business side, just so much to learn. I mean, it feels like they take you out into the water and just drop you off, and you're in a surging storm, and you're just barely being able to stay, keep your head above water, just fighting the storm. And then at the end of the day, they come pick you up, you go home, you eat and you sleep, and then the next day, same thing, they just drop you back in the water. And I felt like that for the past year. So just finally getting to the point where it kind of feels like I'm treading water well enough to where it's not really a storm anymore. I'm just having to tread water, and I can breathe a little bit easier now. But that's just with the business side. So I can only imagine what it would be like trying to start a welding business without having at least the other side of it, the welding and the fabrication side of it, down pat. Like when I weld something, or I build something, fabricate something, I'm not second guessing, is it going to hold? Is that enough weld? Is that going to pass x-ray? Like, all those worries are not that much on me. Everyone, I think, for the most part, if you're a decent welder, always has a small amount of worry about it, but it's not keeping me awake at night like, oh, did I build it right? Did I weld it right? Was that weld, is it going to pass x-ray? I don't really have too many of those worries anymore, so I can only imagine how much it would compound onto things to where running a business wouldn't even be fun anymore. But that's my belief. So the question really just kind of simplified for you guys, and the debate at hand today is, what do you guys think? Do you think you should be experienced in the trade before starting a welding business? What do you think, for years and hours. And I'm sorry when I hear people say throw around years. I had a guy tell me that he'd been in it for like 7 years. Later on, I extracted out of him that he hadn't been in it for 7 years straight. Like, I was thinking my 7 years. My 7 years, when I say I'm in something for the past 7-8 years, that's when I was doing, other than a couple months out of the year, I was doing 84-hour weeks, 60 days straight, then I'd take 2 weeks off, and then another 60 days straight, 2 months on, 2 weeks off. 84 hours minimum. For the most part, unless I got in the shop, it was about 70 hours. But to me, that's a decent chunk of a year. Found out from this guy when he said year, he took like 3 years off, and you condensed it. It's probably only like 4 years. So to me, an average 40 hours a week all year is going to get you about 2,000 hours of experience a year. I was racking in anywhere from probably about 2,800 to 3,400 hours a year. So what do you guys think for hours and years of experience should actually go into being a part of your tool belt, or you'd have in your underneath your belt there of experience before striking out as a welding business owner, just because of everything else that gets involved? It might just about drown you if you have both sides you're trying to figuring out the business side and figuring out the welding and fabrication side. So that's my opinion. I think you should be well versed in the trade first before you go jumping in to start a business doing it. But I could be wrong. That's why I really want to hear what your guys' opinions are as far as what you think. Maybe you guys believe that you don't need it and you'll figure it out as you go, and that might quite possibly be true. Maybe there's some of you guys that did that and are successful. I'd love to hear your stories too. Just a good little debate today. That's what the debate's about. If you got a comment or something you want to go ahead and throw in the comments, get the conversation rolling. I always comment on your guys' comments. We'll get a good conversation, a good debate. I love the ones that don't agree with me, because that helps me get more of a wider, kind of a broader perspective on things rather than just my one side of things. I like to look at multiple different perspectives. So if you guys got a different perspective than me, please throw it out there. I don't think you're attacking me. I don't think that you're being facetious at all. I really do enjoy an opposing perception on things. So let me know what you guys think. You guys have a great day, and as always, I'll talk to you later.